I mean, you have to remember the New York. I mean, and I'll put it on myself. I was so biased. The New York Post published the subpoena, which is a kind of receipt from the FBI, showing they had taken Hunter Biden's laptop from this computer repair store owner in Delaware. It was published in the New York Post. They also published the receipt that has Hunter Biden's signature on it, saying that he had not only had left the laptop there, but also that it gave the computer store, the computer repair owner, the rights to it if he abandoned it. Hunter Biden never said it wasn't his. He never denied that it was his laptop.
Well, and subsequently, at least recently, he sued that guy for releasing the information, which the dumbest thing he could have ever done, because now all this half fake shit gets thrown out the window. Now he's saying it's his.
Right. Well, they're always look there. I mean, I think the other thing I want to also emphasize here, because I think that when you uncover the level of coordination and the sophistication of the disinformation and censorship campaign, it's easy to also sort of say they're perfect, but they're not. They're always making stuff up as they're going along.
Right.
But I think the other interesting thing that's important to know here about that laptop story is that within Twitter, they look at that New York Post article. Yoel Roth, the head of safety, and his team, they look at it and they go, yeah, I mean, it's legit. It doesn't violate our internal, it doesn't violate our terms of service. And at that moment, I mean, it has a Manchurian candidate quality to it, where the former chief legal counsel to FBI, a guy named Jim Baker, who was central to beginning the Russiagate probe of Trump, he's now at Twitter as deputy general counsel. This is we're discovering. This is part of what I was discovering in the Twitter files. Is just vociferously attacking this thing. Is like, this looks like misinformation, disinformation. We shouldn't trust it. It looks like it violates Twitter's policies. Multiple, I think it was at least 4 messages and emails of him pushing to the executives. And then, of course, we can't see the phone calls, which is really where a lot of the dirty work happens. Pushing to just get this thing censored by Twitter. Sure enough, a few hours later, Yoel Roth says, well, okay, we think that it could very well have been a Russian hack where somehow they put it was this crazy thing where they're like, well, we think it was hacked and then put on the laptop. It was just bizarre. Yoel Roth, there's moments where I respect him because he was enough of a truth teller internally. It's why he got to the position he was in, which is a very powerful position, to be like, hey, this is bullshit, internally, he would say. But he was also a company man. So when powerful superiors in the organization, including former FBI people, and Jim Baker wasn't the only one, when he gets worked, he just bends. And he just was like, okay, yeah, I think we've decided that it violates our hacked materials policy and we're going to censor it. The other thing I want to point out about this, it's not just that they censored the article, because people always go, well, it only lasted for a few days or whatever. It was the discrediting of it. The censorship is a disinformation strategy. If you censor that article, in other words, Twitter and Facebook, all the headlines where Twitter and Facebook are, they're going to restrict the dissemination of this material, or they think it's, all that publicity is really what mattered. So in terms of in my defense and other people that bought the idea that it was somehow a fake, we were being told by the media that everybody had looked at this and was kind of like, look, it looks like it's hacked and there's something funny about it. So I think that, I think there's so many shocking things about it, but I think it's the level of coordination and conformity within these social media companies. It was the pre-bunking in advance, and it was the complete, total, just the complete news media blackout and unanimity that there was, and it was just all of them. I mean, it was like all the networks, all the newspapers, they all just repeated this idea that there was something wrong about the laptop, and there wasn't.
It's so creepy. And it's so creepy that there's no repercussions.
Yeah.
It's essentially lying and using taxpayer dollars to promote propaganda.